Look at you there, framed by this fragile light. How long have you stood at this window, my beloved? Years? Decades? That weight you carry, the one that bows your shoulders and shadows your gaze, it's woven itself so deeply into your being you mistake it for your own bones. You think it's strength, this relentless carrying. You've named it duty, or memory, or penance. But let me whisper the truth against the shell of your weary soul. This burden was never yours to claim. It clings like frost on glass, this accumulation of every what if, every if only, every fear that whispered you weren't enough. You've carried worlds on your back, expectations, disappointments, the ghostly echoes of battles fought in silence. You've grown accustomed to its cold presence, haven't you? Mistaking its familiar ache for the very architecture of yourself. But here, in this quiet threshold between night and dawn, feel it. The strain in your breath, the tremor in your stillness, that weight. It doesn't define you. It diminishes you. And the greatest courage isn't in bearing it another day, but beneath the rustle of distant leaves, beneath the sigh of your own breath. Hear it? That's my voice. Not thunder from a mountain, but a murmur against the silence within you. I see you on this path, shrouded in mist, searching for solid ground. I see the exhaustion etched into your spirit. And I need you to hear this. Truly hear it. I am not disappointed. Not in your stumbles, not in your weariness, not in the times you felt faith slip through your fingers like water. You were never meant to walk this road bowed under such crushing solitude. This aloneness you feel, it's the illusion forged by the weight itself. Look at this path stretching before you. It wasn't carved for a beast of burden. It was made for a pilgrim, for a traveler walking with, not under. I didn't place the weight upon you. You gathered it, piece by heavy piece, believing it was yours alone to hold. But my design was always communion, always shared breath. The invitation wasn't to carry the impossible, but to journey alongside the one for whom impossibility is merely a doorway. This mist? It's not confusion. It's the veil thinning. Step forward. The path is clearer than you think. That's fear wearing the mask of command. Control is a phantom, a wisp of smoke you chase. The tighter you grasp, the more it slips through your fingers, leaving only blisters on your soul. You clutch at outcomes, at people, at circumstances, mistaking your fierce grip for influence. But real power doesn't reside in rigidity. It doesn't tremble. It flows, like water, like breath, like trust. Unclench your fist. Feel the ache as the blood returns. That's life rushing back into spaces long numbed by force. Your strength was never in the crushing hold. It was always waiting, latent and immense, in the courageous surrender in the opening palm. Fragility belongs to the illusion. You, your spirit forged in my image, are unbreakable. Release isn't shattering. It's the first breath of true resilience, but by the depth of your surrender. It takes colossal fortitude to stand exposed like this, vulnerable to the wind and the light, trusting that openness is not emptiness, but receptivity. True power isn't found in the fortress walls you built stone by anxious stone. It's found in the wild, unguarded field of the spirit. It's the strength of the river that doesn't clutch at its banks, but flows. It's the resilience of the tree that bends in the storm, roots deep. Holding on was the hard labor that drained you. Letting go. This is the effortless strength that sustains. You are not diminished by this release. You are expanded, filled with the same boundless energy that spins galaxies and coaxes life from seeds. This openness, this radical trust. This is your native strength returning. The strength of connection, not control. The strength that sings in the space between your outstretched hands and heaven. You acknowledge that the world continues its ancient, beautiful dance without your frantic direction. Surrender isn't giving up the fight. It's changing the battlefield. It's moving the struggle from the cramped arena of your own willpower to the boundless field of grace. You relinquish the how, the when, the agonizing minutiae you once believed rested solely on your shoulders. You don't abandon the desire for wholeness, for peace, for healing. You simply transfer the method. You place the how into hands infinitely more capable, more ancient, more tender than your own. This light streaming through the clouds, it's the visible sign of an invisible truth. The universe is fundamentally trustworthy. It's held. It's sustained. You are held. You are sustained. Letting go isn't losing your anchor. It's discovering you were always anchored in something, someone, immovable. This exhale, it's the beginning of breathing freely. See, they weren't scanning the horizon for the storm's end. They were locked on mine. That's the secret, etched in the spray and the howling wind, his moment of sinking. It wasn't when the water proved too deep. It was the instant his gaze flickered away, when he saw the size of the waves instead of the source of his strength. The chaos you face, the waves of uncertainty, the gales of fear, the depths of circumstance threatening to swallow you. They are real, but so is the invitation. Come. The path isn't the absence of the storm. It's the presence of a focus that transcends it. Your faith doesn't need to be a mountain, unshakable and vast. It can be a trembling thread, thin as spider silk in the gale. But if that thread connects your gaze to mine, that's enough. Step out. The waves are only the setting. The story is written in your eyes. How wilted its petals feel. Bring it. Bring the tremor in your hands. Bring the voice that cracks. Bring the faith that feels more like doubt wearing its Sunday best. Bring the messy, unvarnished truth of where you are. That raw honesty, that trembling vulnerability. It's not weakness before me. It's a magnet. It draws my presence nearer than your own breath. I don't stand aloof from your shaking. I kneel in it. This light falling around you. It doesn't demand you first become luminous. It illuminates the reality of you, the fractures, the dust, the beautiful, struggling humanity, and says, this is where I build. Prayer is the exhale of the soul that finally stops pretending it has everything under control. It's the open hand replacing the clenched fist. It's the whispered, I can't, but I believe you can. That whisper, it's the most powerful sound in the universe. The world sees composure, the practiced smile, the functional facade. But I see the tremor you bite back. I see the memory that flashes like lightning behind your iris. I see the weight of the not yet and the ache of the no longer. This tear is the visible sign of the invisible burden you've carried in secret chambers of your heart. You don't need to translate it into words for me. Its language is older than Babel. Let it fall. That drop tracing a path down your cheek, it's a surrender route, an invitation. Let me carry what's heavy. Not just the logistical burdens, but the emotional ballast, the sharp shard of betrayal you still cradle, the dull throb of regret, the phantom limb of a loss that never fully healed. Let me heal what hurts, not with a magician's snap, but with the slow, deep work of a master physician mending the soul's very fabric. Your vulnerability isn't exposure to judgment. It's the sacred space where my restoration begins. This tear waters the ground where trust grows. Arms wide, head thrown back, laughter spilling like sunlight. This effortless abandon. This is your birthright. You were crafted not for perpetual vigilance, not for the crushing calculus of self-preservation, but for walking with me. The child doesn't chart the path ahead for hidden pitfalls. She trusts the ground beneath her feet because she's focused on the wonder, on the presence beside her. She runs because she feels held, even in motion, to rest, not panic. That's the core of your design. Rest isn't passivity. It's the dynamic state of a soul anchored in trust. It's the bird resting on the branch, not because the branch won't break, but because the bird trusts its wings. Panic is the fruit of the illusion of separation, the fear that you're alone in the field. But you are never alone. That innate trust the child embodies. It wasn't taught. It was inherent before the world layered on its weights and warnings. It's your original language. Letting go isn't regression. It's a return, a recovery of that primal, unshakable knowing that you are seen, you are known, you are fiercely loved, and your journey is held in hands far steadier than your own. Not after the next worry, not once you feel ready, not when circumstances align. Now, in this breath, This is the threshold. Are you ready? It's not a question of preparedness, but of willingness. Willingness to trade the familiar ache of the burden for the unfamiliar lightness of trust. Open your hands, physically, spiritually, emotionally. Feel the muscles long accustomed to clenching protest. Then relax. Feel the space created where weight once resided. That space isn't emptiness. It's potential. It's the hollow ready to be filled with peace, with presence, with possibilities you couldn't grasp while your fists were full of stones. Exhale. Release the breath you've been holding. The breath of anxiety, of control, of suspended animation. Let it go. A long, slow surrender of air, carrying with it the residue of carried years. Let go. It's an action, a decision, a leap taken with eyes closed, not in fear, but in focused faith. Release the illusion that holding tight is safety. It's the final surrender of the how and the why to the one who whispers, "Just leap. I am the net. I am the ground. I am the air beneath your wings." The dawn. Not an ending, but a genesis painted in gold and promise. Letting go is not the end. It's the shedding of the chrysalis, the cracking of the seed coat. That weight you surrendered. It was the shell that confined you, mistaking constriction for protection. What feels like loss is actually liberation. It's the moment your soul begins to breathe again. Feel it. That first, deep, unconstricted breath filling. Lungs that had forgotten their capacity. It's the oxygen of grace flooding every cell. This sunrise isn't just light breaking over the horizon. It's illumination breaking over your spirit. The birds taking flight? They're echoes of your own released heart, soaring on thermals of trust you've only just begun to explore. You weren't made for perpetual twilight, for the dim half-life of carrying what wasn't yours. You were made for this radiant dawn, for this expanse, for this lightness of being. The path ahead isn't burden-free. Life remains life. But you walk it differently now. Lighter, taller. Your strength no longer drained by carrying, but renewed by trusting. The weight is gone. What remains is you, man, unencumbered, authentic, finally free to become what I always saw in you, even when you saw only the burden. This breath, this light, this soaring freedom, this is your true self emerging. Breathe deep, beloved. The journey has just begun. Amen.